Oh, hey guys. What's going on? So, cool little intro there, trying something a little bit different. We've got a little bit of a different video coming for us today. So, as you guys can see, we got a lot of big boxes behind us. And I'm pretty excited for it. You guys can probably tell what that is just because it's unwrapped. But if you're looking at this video the first week or so after it was released, you won't know what's going on by the title. But if it's a week after, you already know what's going on. But anyway, we got a little bit different video today because we're taking on a new business venture here at 137 Motorsports. So my dad and I have been talking about this for a good little bit. Honestly, we've been thinking about something like this for the last couple years. An opportunity presented itself and we decided to jump on it. So as you guys saw, we took a trip over to Menards and picked up quite a few supplies, me and my brother-in-law. And we've got all these nice big boxes over here as well. As you can see on the trailer, we have several 2x4s. We got some melamine sheeting. We've got some siding trim. We have a bunch of conduit. And we've got a bunch of bags in the truck as well. Plus, we've got this nice large box right here. We've got a couple 55-gallon drums. One is full of a liquid, the other is empty. We have a nice large box here. We've got another nice large box back there. And we've been doing some clearing out over on this side. So if you look over here, we got my brother-in-law and his dad are over there working a little bit, getting started on some stuff. We have some boxes over here on the shelf. We've got an exhaust fan right here that we're working on putting in. And you guys can probably tell by the boxes there what's going on. But we got several things going here. So with that, I have the GoPro set up over on time-lapse, and we're gonna jump right into this video, and you guys are gonna see some cool stuff. So I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Okay guys, so you've seen one day's work so far, and really it wasn't even a day's work. It was kind of an afternoon / evening's worth of work, but we've got a decent amount accomplished so far. So we got our exhaust fan installed. Big thank you to my brother-in-law and his dad for coming over, helping with that. That took a lot more than I thought it was going to, but I really wanted to knock that project out first because I knew it was going to be kind of the most labor intensive. Got the old exhaust fan installed. Over here, we're building a little bit of a room. So you guys can guess what that's going to be. You'll find out here shortly. A lot of you probably already know what it's going to be. And I forgot to mention it. You guys probably saw this Honda in the background. No, I didn't buy a Honda. Just that's somebody else's I'm working on. But anyway, we got this room going. And yeah. So yeah, we're getting a lot of this stuff knocked out. That's day one. Tomorrow we got a full day on Saturday. So today is Friday currently. Knocked quite a decent amount out, more than I thought we would actually. And then, so tomorrow we got basically a full day. I'm going to run back to Menards in the morning. We're going to exchange some stuff. I'm actually going to get some bigger conduit. We only got 1/2 inch, but I think we're going to need 3/4. So we're going to go ahead, exchange the conduit, get that, and then exchange a couple more things, buy a couple more things that we forgot, and we should be good. So I'll catch you in the morning. Okay guys, well you guys have seen a lot of time lapsing, and we're not done with the time lapsing yet on this video. We still got a lot to do, but at this point I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you don't realize what we're doing already, we're starting a powder coating business here at 137 Motorsports. So let me turn you around here and kind of explain what's going on, and we can get further into detail going into the video. So we started out here, as you guys saw, putting in an exhaust fan. We got that all in, we got that wired up. Big thanks to my brother-in-law and his dad for helping out with that. They came in very handy working on that. They have a lot more construction knowledge than we do, so we got the old exhaust fan in place, and the reason for that is because our oven is going to go right here. So just to get any of those fumes that oven's going to produce when that powder flows out, yeah, we got that. Then over here we got the big project I've been working on. We got the spray booth. So our powder coating spray booth, been working on that quite a bit, and at this point it's pretty much done. So little over, it's like 7 foot wide, 6 foot deep, 7 foot tall right in there. We have some LED lighting to make sure there is no dark spots in this booth at all. It may not look super bright on camera, but if you look at the top of the screen here, you can see how dark it looks at the top. That's because the camera is kind of compensating for that lighting difference, but it is super bright inside this booth. So we got all those lights to make sure, and then we also have the filters at the back. That is to provide a little bit of suction to draw some of the powder in, so not as much of it falls on the ground. So we got some good old-fashioned box fans back here, and what they're gonna do is provide a little bit of suction there. So when you're in here spraying your powder and such, that powder is going to go airborne, kind of like a mist in the air, and it's going to suck that powder and stick into these furnace filters and kind of collect some of that powder. So not as much of it gets on the floor, so we don't have quite as much cleanup to do. So got that there. Shut these back off. Good old-fashioned box fan filters, and then we got the exhaust fan up here, down here on a switch. So we turn that guy on and it opens up those louvers and pulls some good air out of the building. Works pretty darn good there. And then you guys saw us running a ton of conduit too. So our main breaker box is right inside our bathroom here. So conduit comes out up there. We got a switch for the exhaust fan. Conduit goes around. We got an outlet right here for the powder booth. And then whenever the original owners of this house built this building, they put like a total of like 10 outlets in the whole thing. There's not many at all, so we wanted to go ahead and add in some outlets. So we got a drop down here for the 4 outlets. We're going to end up moving our window AC unit over here to make it a little bit better and distribute the air a little bit better. And then I dropped one down by the bench over there as well, because all I had over here was just that one outlet there. So we got a lot going on. We're trying to get this buttoned up. So far, from the time I started this video, that was a little over a week ago. So we're trying to get this up and running as quick as possible to be able to start doing some parts. And so I've got all those big boxes over on the other side, and I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna do some unboxing so I can show you guys what all that is. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw you up on the time lapse. We're going to start unboxing some of that stuff, and I can show you what other equipment we got. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so you saw we got everything unwrapped. It's actually several days later from when I filmed that video because we ran into some issues when we did unwrap stuff, and I'm going to tell you guys about that here in a minute. But I want to show you guys all this equipment we got. So we'll start off here over with our blast cabinet. I'll probably do a full detailed video, another video separate going through all of the equipment that we got, but I'll just show it to you guys real quick. So we got this scat blast sandblasting cabinet. Should be plenty big to be able to open it up real quick, to be able to do a lot of different stuff, rims, frames, anything like that that you'd want to powder coat. So that's pretty sick. We got that here with a dust collector, came with it, so that's pretty sweet. Then over here we got this big bad machine. This is our brand new air compressor. The old Iron Horse, she put in work. She did a lot of hard work, but unfortunately that's just not gonna cut it with the amount of air that we're gonna need. So we went ahead, we got this beast of an air compressor. It is an Emax air compressor, and it should be pretty darn sweet and give us just about all the air that we need. And it's got some other cool features on it, but like I said, I'll do probably a more detailed video on that here in a little bit. Now, let's go over to the other side of the building and show you some other stuff. So something else you guys saw me unwrap was a nice big oven. And luckily, we went ahead and we got it moved over here. I didn't film that for you guys because it was kind of a pain in the butt. Big thanks to my brother-in-law for coming over and helping with that as well. But we got us a big old oven too. There she is, a beautiful powder coat oven. We got, let's unhook this guy here, unlatch, open this guy up. Shoo! We got all the room to powder coat. 4 elements right there. Should be nice and handy. Got us a ventilator fan up there. And then all we got to do, all that's left to do is hook the bad boy up. Well, shoot. Go, got that closed up. So we got our cord for it. Luckily, this thing actually takes like an RV cord. So I just ordered one of those. And then all I got to do is put a new outlet in back there this afternoon, and hopefully we'll be able to fire up the oven today, which would be really sweet. But yeah, that's all of our major equipment that we have. Now, let me tell you about some of the issues we ran into. So one of the issues we ran into was I already had some wire going over to the by the compressor. I actually had a welder a while back. I don't have it anymore. It was like it was a stick welder. I ended up selling it a while back, but anyway, I've got a 50 amp plug over there for it in the other side, and I've got some 8 gauge wire running to it because that's all it really needed. So when I originally did that, and I don't have the welder anymore, I thought, okay, we should be good on the compressor. The compressor's only rated for like max amps of like 33 amps is all it's rated for. So the 8 gauge wire would be plenty, you know, no issues there. So when we ordered the compressor, it didn't say anything on the website. It didn't say anything about needing bigger wire. But unfortunately, and I'll take you over here and I'll show you, there is a little sticker on the compressor that tells you otherwise. So we got our big old compressor here, and if we look right here, you guys can read that if you want to pause it and read it. Basically what it said is you need minimum 6 gauge wire for this thing, even though it only pulls 33 amps, because 8 gauge is rated for like 35 or 40 amps is what it is, so it should be plenty for this thing. And then so it says minimum 6 gauge wire, which is fine, you know, not a big deal. But the caveat is it must be 50 feet or less from your breaker box. So the issue is this compressor straight to the breaker box is 35 feet away. But you also have to factor in the wire going up into the ceiling, the wire going over, the wire dropping down from the ceiling, as well as just your wiring in the box. So basically what it would probably end up being is right around 60 feet of wire if we ran it with, you know, the compressor here and running it to the box. And so that would be over that 50-foot limit. Would it be fine? Probably. But if we don't do that, as you guys saw on that sticker, it would void the factory warranty. So what we had to end up doing is we had to end up upping it to 4-gauge wire. So if you aren't aware of your wire gauges, 4-gauge wire is massive. It is absolutely huge. I forget what it's rated for amp wise, but it's a lot. It can take a lot of amps. So we've got some wiring right here. This right here is 6-gauge. So we've got some 6-gauge wire. 6-gauge wire is pretty big. You can't really see that the greatest because of the cut. Let me flip that around. You can see that there. There's some 6-gauge wire. And then let's look at some 4-gauge. Hello, that is massive. It may not look that big to some of you guys, but 4-gauge wire is absolutely huge. So what we're going to do is we got to run some 4-gauge wire from that compressor over to the breaker box over here. And so our breaker box is actually back in this bathroom over here. I won't take you in there. It's kind of dirty right now. But basically, yeah, it sits back in there. So all the wire has to come out, go up into the ceiling over there, run through the ceiling, and drop down over on the other side. So we're going to do that. We got to run 4-gauge wire for that instead of being able to use that 8-gauge that's already in place. So we're going to take that 8-gauge, unhook it from the box. I'm going to hook that 4-gauge up to the 50-amp breaker that the compressor calls for, since I've already got a 50-amp in there from the welder that was in there. But I'll hook the 4-gauge up to that, and then we should be good to go from there. So that's what we've got on this table. We've got a ton of wire. So we've got our 4-gauge, we've got some 6-gauge to actually hook it up to the compressor itself. We've got our ground wire to be able to run that over there, because it just takes two hot wires and a ground is all it takes. We've got a bunch of air fittings over here, as well as some electrical fittings. We've got these ginormous blocks right here to be able to splice the 4 and the 6-gauge wire together. So I have never worked with electrical like this before, so this has been kind of a cool experience. Big thanks, like I said, originally to my brother-in-law. He's been helping us out quite a bit. We've got some big old heat shrink to be able to heat shrink those and make sure those are insulated all good. Then we've got some very large junction boxes to be able to make that junction over on the other side. I'm not sure. I originally planned on just using this one. It's 6 by 6 by 4. I don't know if it's going to be big enough, so I ended up buying a 10 by 10 by 4 as well to see if we have to do that. And then we also have just some ENT flexible conduit that we're going to run the wires up through the ceiling with, because we're not running it fancy like this fancy conduit, because if we did, we'd have to get 2-inch conduit, and that's no fun. What we also have, other than wiring, is some air lines. So we got some brand new air line. Got some big old 3/4-inch air line to get all the airflow. We got the Max line by Rapid Air 3/4-inch master kit is what we ended up getting. So we got 3/4-inch air line, and then we have several fittings that the kit comes with, and then I ordered some extra fittings just in case. But once we get the compressor hooked up, right now, like my vapor blaster, all that it's hooked up by is just, we've got like this flexible air hose and a quick connect. And then if you guys can see up there, right up there, there's actually just that flexible hose running through a hole in the wall over to the current compressor. But I want to make this setup a lot nicer, especially since we're going to be using air over there in the powder coat booth quite a bit. So what we're going to do is hook the airline kit over there up to the compressor. We'll drill a hole, it'll come out. I'll probably actually go up to the ceiling though. I'll run over, we'll have a T and it'll drop down, so we'll have a quick connect hookup right here. Then it's going to run all the way along the edge of the ceiling to come all the way over here next to the powder booth. So that drop down will be somewhere right in here. But before, or right after that drop down, we do have a massive air filter. So this thing is an air filter, like a water filter / pressure regulator. So it actually has a regulator on it too, which is really nice. But that thing is going to mount somewhere right over here on the wall. So we'll have our air line coming in right through here. It'll go into that filter, so that way we filter out any sort of water that is in the air lines. Hopefully we don't have a whole lot of air in the airlines, because one, that compressor actually has an auto drain on it, which is super nice. So it'll automatically drain with a timer if any condensation does build up. So we'll have that. We'll have a couple other filters in place in line. Right out of the compressor, we'll have a filter / regulator, so that'll be nice. And then we'll have this giant filter / regulator right before the powder gun, because it's very, very crucial. You don't want any moisture in that powder when you're spraying it. So I've been talking a lot, and I've noticed that this is probably going to be an absolutely massive video. And so yeah, I will quit talking at this point, because this is probably going to be it's probably at this point is already a long video with a lot of time lapse and a lot of talking. So I'm going to quit talking at this point, and we've got a lot more to do before this thing is fully set up. And I really want to get this done. So one, we can get the business going, but then also so you guys can see this video. And yeah, I'd like to be able to put it out soon. So let's get into it. Now, if we turn this on, should get power.
Lights on.
Fans on.
Good job.
Thanks.
Tell me hang. That's pretty cool.
Fired the oven up for the first time, and set it at 200 just to test it out, and seems to be working. Fan back here is blowing. Got a blower fan, so it's circulating. There's a vent down in the bottom of the oven. This is pulling air from the top where it's hot, going down and circulating it. We're all wired up. No sparks or flames shooting out of there, so that's good. And yeah, so we're gonna let her warm up and see what happens. Okay guys, so hopefully I got some good footage there, or hopefully I got some decent footage there, because the GoPro was kind of all over the place while we were running wires and stuff. But we got the compressor wired up, and oh my gosh, this thing is quiet. So I'm gonna flip you around. You guys won't be able to tell by the video because the camera adjusts for sound, but I just want you guys, I want you to guys, oh my gosh, I can't talk. But I want you guys to hear this thing run, so let's do it. So here she is in all of her glory. We got all the conduit ran. It's running up through the attic over to the breaker box. We got it all wired up. I still need to put the cover back on, but I'm gonna flip this switch right here and this thing will power on. You guys can probably hear me talking right now. I'm not really raising my voice at all. That'll kind of just go to show you how quiet this thing is. I'll probably turn this thing back on here in a little bit. It's still able to be plugged in so that you guys can actually see the difference as to what this is versus what the old one is. But yeah, another step closer to getting this thing ready to go. So on to the next part. Okay guys, well, we got one of the last big projects finished up going in the garage. So let me show you what we got here. So we got our air compressor sitting here. You guys have seen it. We do have a small leak in it from the factory. I guess I don't think they put much tape on it. So we're gonna have to take that apart and fix that. But other than that, compressor's been doing really good. And as you can see behind the compressor, we now have air lines. So this thing is fully pressurized coming out of the tank, out of the air compressor tank. we went ahead, we put in a water separator and a regulator. So I went ahead and just regulated the whole system. This thing currently is sitting a little bit below, but it usually pumps up to 150 PSI. You can change that. This thing will go all the way up to 175 PSI, but we have no need for that much air. So it comes from the factory going up to about 150, so that'll be good enough. I went ahead and regulated the air line down to about 120 is where it's sitting right now, going to everything. And so we've just got a little flexible line coming over here to this kind of homemade manifold that I put together. And right now we have our inlet right here. Here is our main outlet going over to the other side of the shop, which I'll show you in a minute. We have a dropout right here, which is eventually going to hook to our hose reel. And then we have this guy here, which is going over, here, let me turn that one on. That is going over to our sandblast cabinet. So that's all hooked up over here as well. So we got that coming into a regulator. That regulator is going to be knocked down to about 90 to 100 PSI is what that one's going to be on. And then that goes over to our foot pedal and controls that. So if I step on the foot pedal right about now, the air works. So that's good for our blasting system. Then, yeah, that's pretty much it over here. Let's go and look over in the other side of the shop and see what our blue lines look like. So got this pretty sweet air system from Rapid Air is what it's called. They make kind of this garage air system. And so we're coming through the wall right up there. See, we come right here. We've got a T, our first drop down. We've got a connector right here, and we've got air coming to that. As you guys can see, we've got a quick connect right there, and that's what's going to hook into the vapor blaster. So we'll be good to go there. Then off the top of that T, we go up, we go across the ceiling, run kind of next to the conduit. We run down over here, and let me move this ladder real quick. And from there, we drop down in here to our filter system. So this is a massive water separator and desiccant dryer system. So we have two water separators right here. So it'll come in, it'll go through that, separate any water, and we can drain any of those out through the bottom. Then it runs through this desiccant dryer, which if you guys look in this little window down here, it's kind of glared, but you guys can see kind of some blue in there. That's actually a desiccant material. And as you can see here, right now it's blue, which means the desiccant is normal. It's not wet yet because we haven't really used it. Once it turns pink, that tells you that your desiccant is fully saturated and you either need to dry it out or put some new desiccant in it. Then once it comes through there, we go into another pressure regulator. And so right now we've got that one regulated down to about 40 PSI, curve down here, and we've got our other dropout, which also has air coming to it. So what that one will be is that's where the powder coat gun will hook in. So that was kind of the last major piece of the project that I was trying to get finished up. And so we're almost there. We're almost set up. The only thing left to do is to get the gun and accessories set up. So as you can see here, we got a table full of goodies. This is our powder coat gun that we'll be using. This is the Royal Coats RC2 powder gun, kind of an entry level, but still not cheap powder gun that we're going to be using. We got all sorts of good stuff. We got respirators for powder. What else we got here? This is just kind of all accessories and stuff. We got some heat resistant gloves here to be able to pull parts in and out of the oven. We got some chemical resistant gloves for our chemical stripper. Oh yeah, the good stuff. We got a box full of test powders. You see, you got some greens, some yellows, some purples, some blues. We got some oranges, some whites, some blacks, all different kinds of colors that we're going to be testing. And then we have over here, we have several supplies that we purchased. We have tons of different sizes of heat resistant tape. We've got a bunch of different hooks. We've got the big heavy duty metal hooks for things like rims and that kind of thing, all the way down to the real light, thin hooks for just smaller things. We got some kind of rotating assemblies to hook onto for like wheels and that kind of thing. Some other hooks here. We've got a bunch of color swatches. Well, they're not colored yet, but they will be every time we powder. We'll powder one of those as well. We've got some plugs, we've got some caps, some extra bottles, and just all kind of good stuff ready to go. So all that's left to do is I want to build a little shelf and a hanger for the gun over in the booth. And then honestly, I think we'll be ready to test her out. So this has probably been a long video. If you guys are still here, I want to say thank you for hanging out and watching all this big project that this has been. Hopefully this has been a decent video. This has been a super long process, a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. But yeah, I'll quit talking. I'll save that for the outro. Let's get to building this shelf. Okay guys, well, we pretty much got it all set up, just about as set up as it's gonna be. So let's just do a recap of what all we got out here. So we got our guns set up, we got all our hoses hooked up, we got our box hooked up right here, airline going in, all of our power. Let's see if we flip this guy on. We got it all set up, and then I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this or not, but when I press the trigger, hear that click, and you can see the numbers on the box. We'll talk a lot about that later, but there's air coming out that, so that thing is ready to go. We got our powder hopper over there where we'll end up putting our powder, but yeah, this thing should be ready to go. Let's turn that guy off. Let's turn that guy off right there. And yeah, we turned our airlines on, not hearing any leaks or anything, which is awesome. We got our booth pretty much ready to go. Filter fell out there, but we got some super bright lighting to get this thing nice and lit up. Something I haven't showed you, let me turn those lights off. Let me go back over here real quick to the oven. We got our super sick oven, which I showed you guys, but something new inside of it that we just got is this super awesome rack system. So we got this powder coat rack. See if I can pull it out real quick. Back it up here so you guys can see this. We got this super awesome powder coat rack made from our friends over at Podium 1 Engineering. So as you guys can see, has these awesome gussets, and he CNC cut the 137 in it. This thing is perfect. It fits our oven perfect, and it's got some like cattle panel type stuff up top to be able to hang parts on. So super pumped to be able to use that. Big thanks to him, Mike Walters over at Podium 1 Engineering. He's one of my sponsors this year. He whipped this thing up relatively quick. The quality is awesome. It is really nice, and we look forward to getting some serious use out of it. So go check him out, Podium 1 Engineering. If you're looking for any sort of fabrication or anything, he can help you out. So we got our oven, we got our rack, we got our awesome booth, we got all that stuff over there. We got our airlines running around, and then to wrap it up, we'll come back over in the other side of the building, and we got our super sick brand new air compressor giving us all the air we would ever want, as well as our awesome sandblasting cabinet to be able to clean off these parts. So with that, if you guys stayed around for this entire video, I want to say thank you for watching this video. This is a little bit different type of video, not necessarily quad related, but hopefully it will be quad related in the future. But yeah, we got a long journey ahead of us getting ready to start up the business. I'm going to end the video out here. So come back in the next video of the powder coating series. I'm going to do hopefully a lot of powder coating videos as we get this thing up and running, but the next video we will go through and powder coat our first part. But this video has been long enough, so I just wanted to do the setup and just kind of let you guys know what we got going on the channel, because I've been hinting at a big announcement for almost about a month now, because that's about how long of a process this has been since we started getting stuff in and working on stuff in the garage. So it definitely took a lot longer than we thought, but hopefully by the time you see this, I will have done several test parts, and we'll be making the big announcement that we're going to start powder coating. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and hopefully you guys enjoy our future content. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.